Hi everyone, this is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm going to be working in my traveler's notebook. I will be documenting this 4x8 photo of our rolled ice cream, and I will be using the new Feed Your Craft Here and There kit and the Let's Eat stamp set that was designed by In a Creative Bubble. I'm really excited to document this photo. It's just so beautiful, and I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. So I'm going to start by stamping using the Let's Eat stamp set, and I will stamp delicious and indulge in sweet treats right in that top right corner. I just felt like there was some really good amount of space for me to stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and use my archival ink for that. And once I stamp out my little stamps, I'm going to go ahead and stick down my 4x8 photo on the left side of my spread. While I was going through my kit, I really liked this 4x6 card with all the 2x2 cards, and I thought I could use them on my spread, just trim them down to 2x2s. But I also really liked the stamp that came in the stamp set, the Here and There stamp set, and I thought maybe I could stamp it around this 2x2 card and create like a little journaling card for myself, kind of change up the 2x2 cards. But this stamp is slightly larger than the 2x2 cards, so I decide to back it up on just white cardstock and then stamp it, and that way I'll have that whole stamp but slightly larger than a 2x2, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to trim them out. I at first start with one, but then I decide to use more than one, so I end up, I think, stamping on 3 different cards. You can see me kind of struggle trying to figure out where I want to add these 3 2x2 cards. But I like it and I don't. But looking at it now, I think it looked fine. I think it's just my brain was not accepting the look of these 3 cards layered like that. So I end up deciding to stamp on my spread, like directly on my spread, and I'm going to use some gray archival ink, and I will also end up using some really pretty blue color theory ink, and I'm just going to use the Let's Eat stamp set to stamp out food coma, treat yourself, little things like that. And I stamp it like kind of randomly, like 3 times on my spread. And I will also grab those cards and add them back to my spread to see how it kind of looks. And once I add the cards, I'm not liking it that much. And that happens to me a lot. And I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to make this work. So I decide to grab my Pattern Play Feed Your Craft stamp set and just add some blue stars around my little stamped titles, and thinking that that might help. But I end up still not liking it. So I decide to start embellishing, and maybe that would work. So I just kind of ignore all my stamping and I start embellishing my cards. And when I start embellishing my cards, I think to myself, you know what? I'm totally letting go of one of these cards and I just want to use 2 of them. And I think it made such a big difference. You really can't see the stamping that much because I really used some light ink, but it really did make a difference, especially up close. You can see the stamping much better and it made more sense to get rid of the yellow card. I wanted to use the printable that came with the kit to add some embellishments to my cards. I end up using my circle punch to punch out, tried it, loved it. And I will also use this little, I think this 1-inch circle that had some photos on there, or Polaroids on there. So I just added those to my card. And then I will also be adding some stamping. I'm going to use the same stamp set to stamp out little things that say like, you have to try this, time to unplug. Right under my 2x2 cards, you can see where I already used that larger stamp, and there's this small space under my 2x2 cards, and that's where I decide to use the stamps to fill them out. Kind of like journaling or fillers for my 2x2 cards. This is kind of where you're going to see me shuffle things around and try to make all 3 cards work. And I've said this before, I always notice that I think way too much if I don't stick things down. Once I stick things down, I'm good with the outcome. So I decide, why am I thinking too hard about this? I want that bottom stamp that said food coma to kind of be my title. I need to cover the rest, so I'm just gonna end up using these 2 and let go of my yellow 2x2 card, and that's okay. Once I decide on that, I really like that I made that decision, and now that everything's stuck down, I can go through my embellishments, and I will of course be adding some beautiful Feed Your Craft puffy stickers. And I also will grab some, I believe I end up using some of my chipboard to add little embellishments here and there. I always recommend when you're using cards on a spread, it's a good idea to kind of let your embellishments kind of fall off the edge of your cards and not make everything look so perfect and square and too neat, because then your layout turns out to be very blah. But if you let things fall off your card and off your spread, it just makes your whole spread come together, and it doesn't feel like every piece is a separate piece. It just looks like everything is just one big piece. Of course, I'm going to be using some black and gray crystal drops to add to my spread. By the way, this is one of my favorite colors from all of my crystal drops. I think it's called the Oyster Gray. It is just beautiful. So I'm just going to add some here and there, and I end up using my Tim Holtz phrase booklet to add some phrases to the bottom of my spread. I just felt like when I added the crystal drops, I needed something to weigh down my spread to the bottom, if that makes sense. So I'm going to add a few phrases down there, and then I call my layout done. Don't forget, I'm going to add all the links to Feed Your Craft and this new beautiful kit called Here and There, and the new stamp set Let's Eat, down in the description box if you want to grab yourself one of these kits or stamp sets. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.